just going to record this as well to make sure that we've got the session recorded. Now, tonight's pretty important because what I want to do is I want to take you through the system performance tracker. Now, many of you will have used this tool or may have seen this tool. Some of you may not even seen this tool at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through how the system performance tracker works and what the benefit of it is and what we should be doing with it on a daily, weekly basis. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a chart on soybeans. So soybean system number 5789 tick. Now let's just have a look at soybeans here. We'll break the system down because we need to get a little bit of information about the system. And then I'm going to lead you into what tools we have available to keep an eye on how this system's going. So obviously as this system's been developed up, someone's tested this up. I think it might have been either Steph or Mark or someone like that had tested and developed this strategy up. And they've come up with their best settings, their best initial settings. So those best settings, without any kind of tweaking or anything like that, that's called our pilot system. So everybody's starting to get very familiar with that term, pilot system. So that means that we've tested it up and we've got a positive result from our testing. We may have done some optimization, but really we've just got our pilot system. So if we run the performance graph on that, you can see that, you know, there's a fairly substantial drawdown there, probably about $2,000 or so. A few drawdowns here, and it's a bit of a jaggedy looking equity graph, not something that you probably are going to be too inspired to trade. So, but what it tells us is that for the time that this has been tested, so let's have a look at the time it's been tested. It's from 10 to 11 o'clock, so it's got a 1 hour time slot. It's showing that it's profitable. Let's have a look at go into a little bit more detail about the system. All right, so we've got a trading time from 10 to 11. We don't have a secondary time slot. Our entry is what we call a 2-bar breakout. Now the 2-bar breakout, just for those who, basically what a 2-bar break is, we need to see a second close below support, or alternatively we need to see a second close higher above resistance. That's a 2-bar break. So if you go into your strategy and you right click on your strategy and go format strategies, we've only just started, guys, so you haven't missed much. If you right click on that strategy and you go into the trend and you select true, then you're expecting that you're telling your strategy that it's only going to take a trade once it's traded closed lower from the first painted bar. So if you have that as false, then obviously you're taking the first break of support resistance, whatever, and that would be on a false setting you would be taking that trade setup. On a true setting you would be taking that setup there. So that's the difference between the 2-bar break. So what it means is that we don't get sucked into, or we don't get caught in trades like this, and we'll hopefully find one quickly. Looks like they're all breaking well. See how you've got a no, we don't have too many of them. Well, there's one there. So you've got a trade pops up, breaks, and then comes back down, but it doesn't really close above. So that would be one that we wouldn't want to get into. So that's basically the 2-bar break. Let's have a look at a little bit more of the strategy before we go in and start adding the system performance tracker. So we'll go back. We've got a stop of 12 ticks now. Basically what that gives us is that's $150 on this market. A 12-tick stop is $150. So we'll keep a mental note of that. Now what I want you to do tonight is I want you to take some notes, because we're going to be doing some work tonight rather than just me talking. We're going to collectively work as a group. So our stop is $150 or 12 ticks. Okay, 12 points. Our trailing stop, so our initial stop is always the stop when we get into the market, it's that initial stop. Now our trailing stop, we've got this set as TP, so trailing stop, true, and we've got it set at -15. So this one's got a huge a fair bit of room on the trailing stop. So what does that mean? True, -15, false. Right, well, let's go back in, and I'm going to explain the trailing stop here in more detail. So what happens is if we get into the trade here on the short side, here's our short setup here. If we have a negative value on the TP, so there's our initial stop sits above the market. If we have a negative value, that means that our stop is running basically behind the or above the red dots on the short side. If we have a positive TP, then our stop is running in front of the or below the red dots on the short side. So really those two are interchangeable. So you can either set a positive value, so a positive value is going to sit in here below the line on the short side. A negative value is going to sit above the line. So on this particular setting, we've got what we call a TP is true, so we're taking our trailing stop. So as soon as that breaks, now ours is 15 pips, so as soon as it breaks by 15, we're out of the trade. Now, what we've got is that when we previously set this system up, what happened was it would take the initial stop, but unless it broke, it wouldn't take you out initially on the first exit, unless your stop was really tight to the red dots. If your stop was say sitting -15 points higher, then and these green dots printed, then it would basically discount your stop completely. And then let's say your stop was working here. Say your stop's working around about there. If it went to green, then it would basically discount this stop and hold the initial stop. And then when it went back to red, if it realized price was above your stop, it would automatically exit you out. So it wasn't working as it should. So what we decided, right, well, we found this error in the code, but we found also that some of the strategies worked really well with this modified stop. So we left that in there. So when you have your strategy running now, if you have this set to true and false, then what you've got is you've got the old style stop, the old style trailing stop. If you set it to true, then what it's going to do is it's going to hold that stop until you get knocked out. So if it's -15, regardless of whether these dots have turned green or not, it'll hold that stop right where it should be, and it'll take you out. So you'll find that on some of the systems it works in your favour, some it works against you. So that's the trailing stop. Now what I want to do is, they're the key things I want to cover in this initial part, because we're now going to go into what we call the system performance tracker. So that's your basic settings on this system. There's nothing else really turned on here. You've got support resistance off. You've got the swing trail off. We're not using that. You have the profit target set as false, so there's no profit target on this. We have the max wins, max losses set as false, so we're not trying to have a maximum number of wins in a circuit breaker. However, we do have a true on our dollars. So basically what this system is telling us is that, who can tell me what this setting here is doing? Remember, tonight's a training session and I want plenty of participation, so I'm expecting that everybody gets involved and just tells me exactly what's going on in relation to the settings and what's happening with the strategy. So who can tell me what this is doing to the strategy itself when we turn true on? If you're trading on a 100k account, you've got there $1,000 loss there, so that's running at 1%. But on a 10k account, that's got a stop loss of basically 10%, hasn't it? So what it's doing is it's shutting the strategy down at 20,000, and we're happy to take the 20,000, but the $1,000 is pretty high. So it's really a circuit breaker, isn't it? So it'll stop the strategy once it hits that value. Now, we always want to know what our maximum risk is per day when we're trading, and we want to have those parameters built into our system. So if you have a look here, you've got all days on: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and we have Sunday on there as well because we have some markets that trade a Sunday, and we've got no volume or no volume spike, no volume divergence filter on, and we're going to be talking a little bit more about that in the coming week. The MACD settings are set as false and false, so we're going to be discussing that in a bit more detail. But basically this thing is running a fairly standard settings, vanilla settings you would say, but it has got a fixed target. So let's go back here. We've got let's just see now who can tell me what this format strategy stops and targets is doing? What is it doing? Hey Dimitri, how are you? So what is that format strategy supposed to be doing? And this is where we need to sort out this exit. But what is this supposed to be doing for the strategy? Yep. So get out one contract end of the day. Fantastic. Good stuff. Exit on market close. Okay, cool. All right. So what I want to do now is I want to say, right, well, okay. So we've come up with our best settings. Okay, this is our pilot system. So when I say it's our pilot system, I mean it's basically the system you've done your testing on to come up with a strategy that is potentially profitable. Now, this system is running over 100 and almost 200 trades. It's a fairly jaggedy. Let's have a look at more detail about the system. All right, so we've got a net profit of 8,700. Our profit factor is 1.5. We've got and we'll just open this up a bit more. We've got commissions built in, which is great. We'd expect that there might be a little bit of slippage on this market, so we need to factor that in as well. Now, the other thing we need to look at is our average trade net profit is $43. So you can see what's the glaringly obvious thing here between the longs and the shorts on this market at the moment for the period that's tested. So you've got, if you look at this system and you say, right, well, the system looks okay. It could be better with the average trade net profit, but it's not quite as high as we'd like it to be. The drawdown is 2360. We'd like that to be a little bit less because we ideally want to see 10 times our max drawdown. So if that was a smaller drawdown, that'd be fantastic. What we'd also like to see is we'd also like to see a higher overall net profit. So let's do something. Let's go in and have a look at, now traditionally the way we would break this system down, if you want to call it that, we would say, right, well, we've had a quick snapshot at the overall system, the longs and the shorts, and we could see from our strategy performance report that on close inspection, the short side was where the money was coming, the long side not so good. So the first thing we need to do is we need to basically go, right, well, okay, let's look at soybeans and let's convert this to a daily chart. Why are we going to go to a daily chart on soybeans? Why would we even bother bringing up a daily chart if we're trading intraday? So what's the purpose of the daily chart? What's the purpose of the daily chart, and what is the purpose of putting in, what indicator do we have to put in? Yeah, the volatility. So beautiful. So the reason why we load up a daily chart on the volatility is we want to see what the market bias is. We want to see what the direction is, the market bias. And a really good way of adding to this is to say, right, well, okay, so now we're starting to get a good picture. We've got basically 3 charts loaded here. This is what I like to do when I'm doing my testing, and I know many of you do the same. So let's just make sure the sound's okay. We'll do a quick sound check and make sure the volume's coming through okay because Damon's not hearing it. So is everybody hearing me loud and clear? If the sound's good, if you can type in good. Okay, Damon, so he's popped out. He's probably going to come back in. All right. So the other thing we want to do is we want to add what we call a stock standard GMT moving average. And the reason why we're going to do that is so we can objectively test what the direction of the market is. Now, visually we know exactly what the direction of the market is, but we also want to get a feel for what the direction is. And there's no better way to do that than stick on a moving average because it's just a nice objective measure. So we've got a clear. So what are the 2 things that we see here on the daily chart on soybeans? What are the glaring 2 things that we see here from our quick analysis on volatility and on daily direction, because they're two of the questions you need to ask yourself regularly when you're looking at your charts. What's happening with volatility and what's happening with daily direction? So remember, there's certain phases of volatility we've got, and I'll plot them on the chart. You've got low volatility is below 20 on the stochastic, so that's low volatility. You've got rising volatility where you've got price of or this indicator rising. So there is, and we're gonna be speaking about this a lot on Wednesday. We're going to start to do our volatility analysis. We've got high volatility and we've got falling volatility. So at the moment we've got falling volatility and a long directional bias. So excellent, well done, Andrew. So if we go back to our chart here, we know that, we'll just get rid of that. We go to our pilot system now, and we've got divergence. Good spot there. So we'll go back here. We may have divergence as well, so we can probably load that up too. We might see MACD divergence too. We'll have a look at that in a minute. And this is one thing we're going to be looking at regularly on these higher time frame, the daily, the 30-minute, the 60-minute. We'll be starting to add that to our repertoire. So let's just go back here for a second. Now, this is our best settings, initial best settings on the pilot system. So when I say initial best settings, I mean initially what we've come up with, best settings so far. What we're going to do now is we're going to insert an indicator we like to call the system performance tracker. Now this ties in with the spreadsheet that Giovanni's done. And we're going to, when you go into the way to access this indicator, everybody should have this. If you don't have this, you will have it tomorrow. So anybody who doesn't have this, can you please email me and just say, look, Shane, I don't have the system performance tracker. Can you please provide me with a link to it? And I will give you a link to this system performance tracker. Now, so if you just email me, that would be fantastic. So shane@GMTfutures.com. So basically, what we're going to do is we're going to go to insert analysis technique. Once you get this indicator, basically it's exactly the same as loading up any of your ELDs. It's not yet, but it will be. So we'll get that set up on multi-charts. So basically, once you get the indicator, you're going to import Easy Language. You're going to go into the Easy Language ELD file. You're going to go next. You're going to browse for it, and you're going to grab that indicator off your desktop or wherever it is that you've got that indicator. It'll be in an ELD file, and it'll probably come in the form of an all systems update. And then you'll just open that up and import that into your desktop, and that will basically then load up the system performance tracker A and B. Now the reason why there's an A and B is that there's about 250 lines of code on each of these, so we had to split it. Or 250 lines of data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load both of them up, A and B, and we'll load them up now, and we'll go OK. So we've selected GMT System Performance Tracker A and B. They're loading up now. They'll take a couple of minutes or a minute to load up. And what's going to happen is you're going to get this really kind of weird looking lines at the bottom. You don't need those, so we're going to take that. We're going to scrunch that right down. So the new technical term for reducing the space on your chart. So we'll just take that right down. I'm doing this through the server, so as you can see, there's a bit of a delay, but that's all right. Okay, that'll do. All right, so basically you can get that down as low as you want it. So what we have now on our chart is we have our basic indicators. We've got support resistance, we've got the trailing stop, and we've got our system performance tracker, our GMTR tracker A and B. So now we go in and we say, right, well, how does that help us? What do these two things do? Right, so we're going to go in and have a look at them. So we'll go into if we right click on our chart and go Format Analysis Technique, we're going to grab the A and B tracker. So we'll grab those up, and we'll probably get rid of a bit of this stuff here because there's way too much stuff on this chart. So we'll get rid of that. Yeah, So we'll take those two off as well. Just want to kind of get a bit of stuff. Here we go. So we'll go into System Performance Tracker A, Tracker A. Now, the first thing we need to do with this indicator is we absolutely need to put in our stop. Who can somebody tell me what the stop on the soybeans was, please? Because remember, we're all taking notes, so we should all have this answer. So it was a 12-point stop, and how much was that in dollar terms? So it was 12 ticks. Yeah, beautiful, fantastic. So what's that's telling us is that we've got a 12-tick stop. Now this is the big thing here, because when we're looking at this indicator, every 12 ticks, so every 12 ticks is worth $150. So that means that one losing trade is equal to $150. Okay, so on this system performance tracker, what this is it's saying, right, well, we're going to measure our risk, which is our rate of draw, our risk, our R multiple, as a multiple of our risk, which is 12 ticks or $150. So if we have one losing trade, so a negative 1R, so one losing trade, that's going to equal $150. So if we have negative 2R, we have, so negative 2R is equal to negative $300. So what's going to happen if we have a positive 2R? How much money are we going to make if we have a positive 2R? Yep, 300, excellent. So if we've got a negative 5R, how much money are we potentially risking on this strategy? Because what this is telling us is that, all right, on my pilot system, which I've got here, this is my pilot system, I'm basically this system is going to turn off at negative 5R. So negative 5R is $750. Negative 5R is $750. It's going to turn back on at positive 2R. Now positive 2R is how much? Positive 2R is how much? $300, exactly, so it's easy. So what this is telling us is that we have a inbuilt mechanism in our system now that is going to turn this on and off, or track our performance, basically using this. Now we know that we probably want a little bit. We probably do want a bit more of a drawdown than 750, don't we? Because 750, if we have a look at we're going to just close out of this for a second. We're going to go to close this out for a second. We're going to go to our, we're going to wait for this to, and we're going to go here, and we're going to have a look at our graph. Now we know that our drawdown, we can add another 2R, that's right, Stephen. We know that our drawdown is 2,300, so we're well and truly. Now the key to this is making sure that you're not in and out of the system. So for those of you who have done the money management and done module 7, and you've seen what happens when we have, a negative 3R circuit breaker, we're just turning the system on and off all the time, aren't we? And it gets a bit frustrating, and you're getting in, you're missing out. You've got to get a happy medium. So what we want to do is want to say, right, well, maybe 750 is a little bit tight. What do people feel as though a reasonable value may be based on these drawdowns here? What do we think that may be a reasonable value? Would we say maybe $1,000? Would that be something? I don't think we haven't optimized this system yet. We haven't done any days of the week analysis. 1100. So Stephen's come back with 1100. Let's go with let's basically go with a 7R. We'll go with 7R. We'll kind of put it in between. So we'll just go back into the indicator, because we've got to go back in there. We've got to go format analysis technique, and we have to go to our GMTR tracker A, go format, and what we're going to need to do there is we'll go 7, which is about, what's that, about 1050. So we'll put that at 7, and we'll leave that at 2 for now. So we'll just leave it at that for a minute. Now, interestingly, what we've got now is this is our pilot system. So it's telling us that as soon as we draw down to 1050, this system's going to turn off, and it's not going to basically take any more trades. And until it makes it $300, bounces up and makes $300, it's not going to turn back on again. So what does that mean? It means that basically, we'll save that. We'll close this here. It means that once this system here has a drawdown of 1050, it's off. And then when it hits its lowest point and makes $300, it's going to turn back on again. So every time it hits its lowest point and makes $300 profit, it'll turn back on. So that's not too bad. So let's have a look and see what happens. Now remember that we've still got a bit of work to do because we haven't looked at the days of the week. So we actually haven't gone into this system and had a look at the days of the week. So let's do that now. Now I've loaded up the System Performance Tracker A and B. So what this does is it tells us, if we go back into that indicator, it'll tell us when we should be turning this system off based on our selected drawdown. So we can change that to 7. I won't do it now, but you get the point. You can change this to 7. So basically, if Sunday drops 1050, it'll turn off. If Monday does, it'll turn off. If Tuesday, that's the value you've set. Now, interestingly, if we go into the R Tracker B, which is here, so if we click on the R Tracker B, which you would need to set up as well, we've got to change this, don't we? This has got to be changed to what value here? Initial stop is what? 12, beautiful. So I've got to change that. And we've got to select what value we're going to turn this system off. Now, interestingly, now we're actually breaking the system down into longs and shorts. So the first lot of work is longs, the second lot is shorts. So we're going to get to see in a minute exactly how this system is running and break it down on its overall performance. But what I thought I might do is just quickly revisit. The system's made just over $8,000 all up, so the pilot system's made 8,000. So we'll record that. We're going to go through this. So we'll just record this. So what we want to do, so if we traded all systems, now let's have a look at the days of the week. We're going to have a look at the days of the week here. And we're going to bring up what we call our data table. So we go View, Data Table. We're going to pull this over. Now, for those of you who have already seen this before, it's probably time for a refresher anyway, because I know there's a lot of people who aren't using this information that need to be. So I'll apologise if you are using it and you're doing everything perfectly, then fantastic. If you're not using it and you should be, this will be a great refresher and you'll be able to get back into it with some gusto. So at the moment we've got all systems, pilot system making $8,000. Okay, so let's have a look now at what's happening with our system. It's got a profit of $8,705, so just slightly up over that. Now, what you're looking at here is you're looking at your general run-of-the-mill TradeStation data window. But now, from about here down, you've got your system performance tracker, and it's telling you that basically, with your pilot system has made $8,705 without any kind of work at all. Your maximum equity high was 9,297. Your maximum drawdown was 2,360. Your current drawdown is 592. Your system is going to turn off at 7722 because remember we put in there that we're going to turn the system off at 1,050 drawdown. We know that once we turn the system off, it'll start calculating its profit that it's made, and obviously it's on at the moment, so it's still calculating that. That's why that figure's a bit lower. And what it's giving you is giving you the average trade profit on the system. So the overall pilot system has an average trade net profit of $44. Right. So let's start breaking this system down. We know that Sundays doesn't trade. On Monday, if we have a look at Monday, Monday looks okay. It's profitable $14.92. So we're going to put this information up here. We'll probably have to do it a little bit higher. So Monday, our profit is, Monday is 14.92. So basically, the maximum drawdown is 882. The current drawdown is 0. So would we be trading Mondays? Average trade net profit of $84. Is Monday a good day to trade on the days of the week? Would you say? Is that a yes for us? Absolutely. Okay, so let's go to Tuesday. Tuesday is another great result, 3,890. So Tuesday, looking all smiles on Tuesday as well. So we'll go here, and we've got 3,890. So that's a good effort. The max drawdown 952. No current drawdown on Tuesday. Tuesday's flying along. The average trade net profit $96. So that's fantastic. If you had a tendency to skip along, you'd be doing that at the moment. That's flying. Wednesday, basically Wednesday is 1182. Current drawdown is negative 500. Is that day of the week worthy of remaining on or not? Tell me if you think that should still be on or not. So 1182, it is profitable. Not a great average trade net profit, is it? So we've got a few people. The current drawdown is $500, but a lot of you are saying your max drawdown was 1,000. So the question is, do we have Wednesday off? We're going to put a question mark on it. We'll just put a question mark there because we might be able to do some work on that. Everybody's coming in with a no, so that's okay. Purely probably based on the average trade net profit. So let's keep going. Now, you've got to remember that this is happening, so you can see this information every day. So instead of, this is a great, if you're looking for tools to use, this tool as well as your spreadsheet that Giovanni's developed up are great tools to managing your system and giving you that instant feedback on how your system and strategy are going. So you've got Thursday, 897, maximum equity 19. This is not looking good. Current drawdowns 1,062. So what's our feeling generally about Thursday at the moment? Average trade net profit of $23. Are we yes or no on Thursday? 897. So it's a no. Okay, so we've got two no's there. We've got a no there as well. We'll change that to a no. Okay, and let's have a look at Friday, 1242. Current drawdown 987. Whoa. Friday's a bit sketchy as well. So Friday would be, general consensus from the group is, are we trading Fridays or not? Because remember, you're managing this system, so you've got, as a group, you've got to come up with yes, no, or yes. So Friday, yeah, current drawdown is 975. Okay, all right, so we're going to put a question mark against Friday. All right, so there's our first lot of analysis. So what we've ended up with is, it's got a high drawdown, that's right. What we've ended up with, Monday, Tuesday are definites. Wednesday, Thursday are no. Friday's a question mark. So the beauty about this is, though, let's go and have a look at the longs. So let's have a look at our longs on Monday. Now, we're trading Mondays, but what's the longs doing to us Monday? Monday's 812. Current drawdown is 15, 115. So Monday longs okay. Are we happy with Monday longs or not? So we'll go longs here. It's a yes. So it's Monday longs, yes. Tuesday. So let's go Tuesday here. How are we looking for Tuesday? Current drawdown is $27.50. Average trade net profit $40. It's a yes for Tuesday. So Wednesday, 430 of profit. Current drawdown 620. 465. So average trade net profit $4. Don't think that's going to get over the line somehow. Wednesday's out. We can almost go to Thursday straight away. Thursday's negative as well. Negative 109. So that's a no. So Wednesday, Thursday are definite no's, which is what we expected. So what have we got for Friday, and how are we feeling about Friday? So Friday's a no. Okay, so quickly we were able to determine that basically longs Monday, Tuesday, everything else is off. All right, so let's have a look at the short side. This is where things are going to get interesting. So on our short side, we've got, just quickly using the system performance tracker, we've got 680 on the short side. Current drawdown is 0. So we've only got a $16.15 average trade net profit. We haven't got a current drawdown. We've had a max drawdown of 842. Current equity 680. Do we trade Monday shorts? Because we don't have a lot of, we obviously don't look as though we've got a lot of trades there, but we also don't have a current drawdown, so it's actually working. If you look at the current drawdown, it's actually starting to make money. It's hitting new equity highs. So the question is, well, do we trade Mondays or not? No, basically we say no to Monday shorts. Monday shorts. So that's a no. Okay, Tuesday. How are we feeling about Tuesday? Current drawdown's 92.50, 93, so Tuesday's a yes. Wednesday, 7.52. Current drawdown is 5.47. Average trade net profit negative 49. That's looking pretty bleak. That's a no for Wednesday. And Thursday we have 17.75. Average trade net profit 118. That's flying along that one. So that would definitely be a yes Thursday. And then we've got Friday is looking pretty dismal. Friday's a no there too. Yeah, so Friday no. So what have we ended up with? We've ended up with a Thursday yes. So if we take this very sketchy, so we've got longs Monday yes. So just over here we've got our longs Monday. We've got Tuesday longs, and we have Tuesday yes on the shorts. We've got Thursday on the shorts, and that's it. So that's soybeans at the moment. So that would be our high performance system on soybeans. So what we've effectively done is, if we then turn those days on, basically Monday longs, Tuesday shorts and Thursday shorts, what is that called there? What have we effectively done with this system? We've taken a pilot system, which was our initial system, which we know actually didn't look too bad. We've created a high performance system, haven't we? So what is our next step? So basically, what do we as a group need to do? What charts do we have to set up as a group or individually when we're trading to track this whole process? What are the 3 charts we have to have running all the time when we're tracking our system, regardless of what you're doing? If you're going to be a professional trader, what are the 3 things you have to have running all of the time when you're tracking your systems? Yeah, so all days of the week and daily. Yeah. Excellent. So we need to be monitoring this regularly because we want to know exactly when we should be turning things on and off and how they're tracking. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a Forex example now. So we've just gone through a futures example. So let's switch over to the Forex market. And we've just been able to create a high performance system, and we'll come back to this. So on Wednesday night, we're going to take our high performance system, but let's go to any questions on that before we go. Excuse me, hiccups. Before we go over, Any questions on that before we switch over to the Forex? No? All good? Okay. So let's go to the Forex now. Now what I've done here is I've actually loaded up two charts again. And what we have is we have our high performance system and we have our all day system. So this is our usual, well, not our usual, but this is system number 58. And we know this thing was been flying, absolutely flying along. What happened to system number 58? Does anybody remember what happened to system number 58 that caused it to have a bit of a drawdown on its performance? And we'll bring the performance chart up. Everybody should remember what happened in this period here. We spoke about it last week. Yeah, volatility increased. Beautiful. Good stuff, Shal. So volatility increased. Now, interestingly, this is an interesting example of tracking all days of the week. So let's go. Now, this is the cycle trader. So remembering that it is the cycle trader, and we're going to get good days, bad days, but the first prerequisite for this system is that we need to be trading the cycle trader during low volatility. In your testing, you absolutely have to monitor the volatility on these things, because once the volatility goes up, and you have to objectively determine what your volatility parameter is, once that volatility spikes, this cycle trader, you're going to struggle to get the profit that you want because of the increased volatility. So one thing we want to do is let's assume that you're not paying any attention to volatility. You're just trading basically, or even if you are, but let's see if there's anything we can get, any edge we can get on this system by stripping it down to its analysis, days of the week analysis, and the system performance tracker analysis. So we'll go to our data window. Let's go through and have a look here. Again, do the same exercise. So we know this is the US dollar Swiss. The pilot system's made 15k. Fantastic. Let's have a look at how it's trading. You know that you and I know the currencies trade on a Sunday. On a Sunday, this thing is rocking along. It's basically made $2,000 on a Sunday. Current drawdown is 0. So Sunday is definitely on for this system. That's a tick. Sunday is on. Okay, so let's have a look here. Are we going to be trading Monday? Current drawdown is $369. Now, obviously, we haven't. What haven't we done yet with this system to make sure that it's properly calibrated with the system performance tracker? What did we need to do to go into this before we actually started analysing it? Anybody? What did we need to do to the indicator before we started to actually go through and just to put in the reason why we put the circuit breaker in, the drawdown in, is that will turn the colour from green to red. As soon as your circuit breaker is hit, it'll go from a green colour to basically a red colour. So you've got your, now just to go back over this, you've got your equity, you've got your maximum equity high, you've got your maximum drawdown, you've got your current drawdown, you've got the value at which the system turns off, you've got the value at which the system is locking in profit with your circuit breaker, and then the final one is your average trade net profit. So the first thing we need to do is we need to go into the indicator and set up our stop. Now on this system here, we've got it at 18, so it shouldn't be 18, should it? We've got to go into the strategy and we've got to say, right, well, what is the stop on the strategy? It's going to be, how many pips is it? It's 49 pips. So that would be our initial stop, 49. So we'd put that in there. So we go into our format analysis and we'll go and put it in there at 49 into our A tracker, and we just need to make sure that's in there. So that allows us to then basically, that will then trigger the green and the red basically on your system. So we'll just, while that's doing that, we'll basically just keep going. So we've got Monday, are we trading Mondays? Because we've got a massive average trade net profit. We have a huge equity high. We've got very little drawdown. Is Monday a day that we would be trading? Yeah, absolutely. Monday's yes. Monday's on. Let's have a look at Tuesday. Tuesday is not so good. Currently it's negative 2710. We don't really need to go any further with that, do we? So at the moment we're trading every day of the week. We're trading Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We've just leaked to the market, given the market back on Tuesdays $2,700, almost $3,000 of profit. It looks like Tuesday's never made money. So it's going to be interesting to see when we look at the longs and shorts. Wednesday, sitting at $657. The current drawdown is $17.97. Are we trading? Now obviously this thing's turned off because it's got an average trade net profit once the circuit breaker is kicked in. But is this thing on or off at the moment based on the current drawdown? Because you've got to remember this thing, you've got to look at your current drawdown. And if your current drawdown, if you're currently down that much, you want to be turning that off. So Thursday, let's have a look at Thursday, and we've got an equity high of 4422. Current drawdown is 1422. So Thursday's going to be off as well, isn't it? Because it's actually in a current drawdown. It's made good money historically. So what do you think's happened here? What looks as though it's happened is that we've had this huge drawdown. A lot of these losses have come midweek. And we've actually hit our circuit breaker on the days where there's a lot of volatility. If you think about the structure of the market, you know that typically you'll find, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they're the big days for trading on the currencies. Now, the ones that have been hit hardest are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we would probably be turning Thursday off because currently its current drawdown is not good. It's close to its max drawdown. So Thursday would be off. So we keep going and we look at Friday. Now Friday, current drawdown is 510. Would we be trading Friday? Huge profit on a Friday. Maximum drawdown 1600. Current drawdown is 510, so it's not so bad, is it? So we would probably be looking, say, for Friday as on. Now let's go in and have a look at. So current drawdown on Sunday longs. So longs look good, so we keep that on. Longs, Sunday is on. We've got Monday longs. Are we trading Monday longs? Monday longs are on or off? Yep, so we're on for Monday longs are on. Okay, Tuesday longs. Current drawdown there is $808. So Tuesday looks like Tuesday longs are off. Wednesday. So Wednesday's got $351 worth of profit. The current drawdown is $617. Its max equity is 969. Average trade net profit was good, but it's turned off now, so we've got to look at Wednesday off. And you've got Thursday longs has made 3,400. Current drawdown's 198. That's on, so Thursday's on. And then Friday long 987. And your current drawdown is $1,000. Yeah, that Thursday is fantastic, isn't it? So you can see Thursday's got an imbalance between the long and short side. Because we've got longs on, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday we're off, Friday's on. So Friday here, we've actually got that as off because Friday longs are down $1,000. So I would say Friday is off. Friday long off. So we've definitely got a directional imbalance here. So let's have a look at the short side. Sunday shorts look good. So the shorts are on. Monday shorts look like they're on. No drawdown on the short side. Tuesday shorts definitely on. Oh, hang on. have a look at the Tuesday shorts. So our current drawdown there is $3,229. So we turn that off. And we have a look at the Wednesday shorts. The Wednesday shorts are down 1,500. So some ugly days of the week here. That is horrific. Off. Thursday's current drawdown on the short side is 1179. That's definitely got to be off. And Friday, have a look at Friday shorts. That is incredible. So, alright, so we've got now. So, from a strategy that is running basically all days, which we've got here, this thing is running all days. It's made $15,000. How much better are we going to do when we run our high performance system, based on what we've seen so far? We've basically got longs on Sunday. Monday we've got all trades on. Longs. We turn Tuesday and Wednesday off. Thursday is longs only, shorts are off, and Friday is shorts only. So with that combination of days of the week, we should be able to really improve this performance in a huge way. So our drawdown there is 4,240. Now let's have a look at our average trade net profit. Our overall performance is 16,525. Average trade net profit is $91. Now let's have a look at our other. Now this is me turning the days of the week on. This is doing my initial high performance analysis, and obviously I've got to add a couple of new changes we've made today. But on the initial improvement, it's taken the average trade net profit. Now remember, this is the cycle trader. It's taken the average trade net profit up to $164, and we have a max drawdown of 2266. So that's a huge improvement on what we had before. We've almost got $20,000 worth of profit. So we've got 895. So that is a massive improvement on what we had. So we've gone from that to basically from our previous strategy, which had this monster drawdown, to what we've got now. So I'll add in those other days, and we'll just see how that plays out. So guys, when I mentioned to you about looking at the days of the week, you definitely something that you want to test and track and monitor. And the reason why, and a prime example of this is if we have a look at the even the system number 55 running at the moment on our high performance system. So if we go to I'll just take you over to our spreadsheet here. If we have a look at, and I'll just blow this up a little bit. Let me view this up. Can everybody see that clearly? I'll just make this a bit bigger. So if we bring this up, I should make it a little bit bigger, and then I'll bring it into about 125. We had a pretty tough week last week, like not fantastic on performance, down 634, but that's across 15 systems here. Giovanni's added a couple today, so I'm going to add those in if Giovanni's okay with that. He's got a couple of really good ones on crude. I've added the DAX one in as well, which I'll load up. Now just on the futures, and we'll cover the Forex on Thursday, just on the futures, basically this system number, whoever's trading system number 66, I've uploaded some adjustments to that strategy based on the system performance tracker. So there are certain days that you need to look at on that link. It's under the members alert, and you'll need to just have a look at that, because as I mentioned, there are days that are performing well and days that you need to turn off. And once you get a day that's not running well, very quickly turn it off to obviously preserve the integrity of your system. So the important thing is to just keep on top of your strategies. Keep monitoring not only keep monitoring your high performance system, but also your pilot system, because as I mentioned before, there are days that will bounce and turn really good and start to deliver profit, and they're the ones you want to turn on. So we saw last week that again, for those of you who are trading crude oil, there's a fair few in the room now. The new system crude, the new stop on crude, the true, that's running beautifully. That's delivered over 4K in the last couple of months, 3 months or whatever it is, since July. So that's flying along. A little bit less on system number 3, the old stop. Basically, the top 3 strategies are the Russell 64, running at 7.4. You've got crude, the 89 tick, 9 to 905, and then you've got the DAX as well. The DAX Renko is flying along too, and coffee has been running well. And I've actually loaded up here Brett's coffee, which is the 89 tick, which is modified. So there are 2 coffee systems there that I've got loaded in there that you may want to have a look at as well. So guys, or traders, that is loaded up in the members area. So you'll see if you go into the members area, there's a results tab, and that spreadsheet is in there. And I think most of the systems are loaded up into the register now. If there is something in there hasn't been loaded up, just yell out and I'll send it to you. But I should have everything loaded up by the end of this week, so they'll all be up there. And we'll continue to track these systems, so we'll be tracking the futures and forex. And you can see there that definitely the cycle trader, combining the cycle and the trend together, has been working beautifully, particularly on this DAX market. So we'll be adding a few more cycle future systems in there. Obviously they're working well on the forex, so we want to add those to the futures as well. So guys, that's going to wrap it up for me tonight. I just wanted to take you through the system performance tracker one more time, making sure that everybody is at least aware of it, using it if you've got it. If you haven't got it, send an email to me and I'll basically make sure you do get it and load it up, because you definitely want to have that running on your desktop. It's an invaluable tool and something that everybody should really have access to. So definitely send me an email if you haven't got it, and we'll make sure it's loaded on the machine. But apart from that, on Wednesday night, I'm going to be taking you through some volatility stuff that we're doing some more work on. So I'm going to be taking you through that information on volatility. And I also want to, either this Wednesday or next Monday, I'm going to run a session on walk forward optimization. So if there's anything else you would like training on that you would really want me to cover off in a full session, so whether it's walk forward optimization or anything that you specifically want me to cover, we're going to spend a good hour on that, because there's a fair bit in that. There's generic and exhaustive optimizing, cycle settings, yeah. So how about we go through the cycle settings on Wednesday in a fair bit of detail. So I'll cover that off on Wednesday. And we'll go in and we'll basically look at exactly how we develop the cycle system up and how to get the most out of it, and potentially how to adjust the strategy to different conditions. So we'll spend a bit of time going through that. So if you do have any other things that you want me to cover in these sessions, just send me through an email and I'll add those to the list of training that we're going to do. So guys, that's it for tonight. We're going to be talking about the volatility stuff on Wednesday, and then next Monday will be our walk forward optimization session. So thanks for your time, everyone. Have a super session, and I look forward to catching you on Wednesday. Cheers.